VESC installation in under 15 minutes. First, you want to remove the battery case from the skateboard. When flipping the case over, you're going to want to hang onto the battery and the ESC that's already in there to make sure it doesn't fall out. First step is going to be removing the old ESC. Cut the shrink tubing and unplug the wires. If you don't have access to a new shrink tube, you can use electrical tape or run out to your local hardware store and they should have some. There's the old ESC. Just removing the shrink tubing from the bullet connectors going to the motor. Now to cover the vented hole in the bottom of the battery enclosure, you can get a piece of Tupperware or a piece of clear plastic, cut it to fit in over the indent, and then that'll be a weathered seal and allow you still to see the lights. I'm just going to cut this tab off to enable the VESC to sit cleanly in the enclosure. Just make sure you don't cut through the bottom of the enclosure. There you go, room for the new VESC. There you see the VESC and situated the way you're going to want to install it. Give you an idea where all the wires kind of have to go. Before you do that, put the little piece of plastic that you made, you can glue it in or just have an interference fit. You can take a couple of zip ties to make it easier when you flip the board over. The VESC won't want to fall out of its space there. Just cut a couple notches in the plastic and I'll just hold the VESC down. If you want to upgrade your board at a later date, you can download the BLDC tool off the internet. It's a free download, and that'll enable you to change all the settings. It is fairly advanced, but if you do know what you're doing, then you can upgrade your batteries, your motor, remote control, all that kind of stuff, and use the same speed controller. Just make sure the zip ties fit how you want it to. That's going to hold the VESC in. When it's flipped over, the board, it's going to be sandwiched in between the board and the plastic enclosure, so it's just for flipping the enclosure over. As you can see, I have the heat shrink tubing already installed. When you're installing the remote wires here, the brown is going to be the negative. So there is polarity on it. There'll be a little negative mark on the receiver chip. Looking at the video, it'll go on the top set of 3 prongs. Now, when plugging in the motor wires, plug them in and then test to see which way the wheel turns. If the wheel is turning backwards, just unplug any 2 of those 3 wires and alternate them. That'll get your motor going the right way. This one's going the right way, so we're going to have to alternate the wires. So now I can shrink the heat shrink and button it back up. Obviously you don't want to melt the plastic or the wires or anything like that. Like I said, you can use electrical tape instead of the heat shrinking. Heat shrink gives a nice clean look and does protect it against chafing and a little bit of water. I'll just wrap all the wires up, make sure they don't get pinched in between the enclosure and the deck. And these speed controllers, they come pre-set up, pre-programmed for these Backfire boards with that exact motor setup and battery setup. They provide battery protection so they don't overcharge or undercharge. If they go under 3 volts per cell, it can damage a lithium-ion battery, so they protect against that. They give a much better acceleration. They'll accelerate as much as you want right off the whip, and also a lot better braking. So now when you go to put the bolts back in, make sure you don't put one bolt in and tighten it all the way down. Just start each bolt, 2 or 3 threads in, and go all the way around, and then you can tighten them one at a time. And that's it. VESC installation in under 15 minutes. It's a big upgrade for these boards.